Welcome to Powered by Authenticity, a live podcast recording night, and we love those. And who better to join us tonight than Dr. Vicki Johnson? Vicki, how are you tonight?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
We're doing well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to dig into it.
Yeah, I'm so happy to have you here. I know we chatted, I think back in June or July. So I'm glad that the time has come for the episode, and we're excited to talk all things about what's going on in your neck of the woods. And how would you like to get us kicked off with a little bit about yourself?
Sure thing. If anyone is new to me or what I do, I'm the founder of an organization called ProFellow. We are a media platform that's dedicated to information on professional and academic fellowships, fully funded graduate programs, business accelerators, and other types of programs that tend to have funding attached. They're merit based, and they really can launch your career. And I got into this work because early in my career, I did a few fellowships that I had really stumbled upon and then worked to get into the programs. But I thought, why is this information so hidden? I thought that was really a problem.
Okay.
And it was a problem I wanted to solve. Never expected to be doing that for 15 years, nearly 15 years. But here I am, and I've had a lot of fun along the way. So, yeah, that is what I'm doing right now.
Oh, that's awesome. And whereabouts in the world are you located?
I live in Oregon, and
Okay.
actually, I've lived with my family in a lot of different places. I grew up in Wilmington, Delaware. I've lived in New York. I've lived abroad, California, and at the moment, we are here in Oregon, enjoying mountains, and we're on the eastern side of Oregon, where it is a lot different than not the eastern side. Sorry, it's not like the eastern side. We're in central Oregon, which is high desert, so
Nice.
it's a beautiful place to be.
Oh, that's awesome. Great time of year to be there, I'm sure.
Yes, lots of fall leaves.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, yeah, we get them here as well. It's always so lovely when it turns that time of year and you get to see the season change, and it's just so just beautiful to go out for a walk and just enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, with that, tell us a little bit more specifically about the work that you're doing with ProFellow.
Sure. Now we started back in 2011. It was founded. My husband and I founded ProFellow when I was a PhD student. I was overseas, which started on a Fulbright fellowship to New Zealand, and then I sort of got into a PhD program that offered full funding. And I realized, so I had done several fellowships in my career, as I mentioned, and I also got this full funding award for the PhD. And before this time, I never had heard of full funding, and so this was a professor cluing me into it. So the idea for the site was really to make this information more accessible. I was a Pell Grant recipient in college. I've always been really resourceful in figuring out how to fund my education, not always successful in that. But I used fellowships also to figure out a way to advance my career and travel the world. I just thought, more people should know about this. It started out as just like a grassroots blog. The goal was to create a database to put all these things in here for people to access. But it really wasn't a business or any kind of organization for the first 5 years. I just worked on it as a side project. But we started it in a time when the internet was really kind of having a heyday, I think, for content. That was like the beginning of the whole content world. And people found us. They found us through Google. We started to build an audience. And then, we started working with fellowship organizations to help advertise programs. So the site just, in content wise, just grew and grew and grew. So much so that we have so many opportunities on there. It's almost overwhelming. But then I also started to do workshops and speaking on how to get into the programs. And so that kind of became another chapter where I'm, helping people get into the programs, learning application strategies.
That's so cool. It's fun to see how it goes from a blog to full-blown, "This is a business."
Yes. Yes. It was a very long journey, though. It's so funny. Nothing is ever an overnight success. So, I think that's always a misnomer, but we've been working on this a very long time. Yes.
Yeah, and I like to say, patience is probably one of the strongest skills you can have if you're going to branch out on your own.
Oh, absolutely. Patience, resilience, need to have some level of self-confidence because it's tough when you're starting out.
Yeah, it is. So are there other ways, so this is matching, students to opportunities. Have you been able to expand that? And maybe we might talk about it a little bit more later, but, did you find that you were like, "Oh, I can also take this and use it towards corporate, or I can take this and use it towards other venues and verticals?" Just kinda curious.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, the opportunities that are listed on on our site are at all career levels. And there's sort of a lot of myths so that, fellowships are only for students or fellowships are only for people with PhDs. This is completely wrong. Most of the fellowships I did were actually professional fellowships. And so what's neat about them is you can use them to advance, your career.
Yeah,
I actually enjoy, I don't know that I'm deep in the corporate space just yet, although I've started doing different types of speaking and workshops for companies. But I love working directly with the applicant, whether they're early career, mid career, PhD level, late career, helping them find the opportunities for whatever big idea that they're working on, and helping them find the opportunities so that we have this big repository. But then I love teaching people how to create a confident personal pitch and
yep.
and things like project proposals to get into the programs, which are very, very competitive. But if you can get in, they really do unlock a lot of opportunities during and after the opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. And I just, again, I love to hear about how you started again as a blog, and now you've built it to a
Yeah.
place where it's finding all of these opportunities. And with that and with your journey, what are some of the positive things that have kind of come about as being an entrepreneur and building this business? Are there just unexpected positive things that you've felt over the course of your journey?
Definitely. So number one, my last real job, as I call it, working for someone else was back in 2016. I was working in a San Francisco government agency. This was after my PhD. So I was working on Profello kind of on the side. I had to leave that job. It was kind of a toxic workplace. And this is when my husband said, just work on Profello full time, really, spend some time on this, see if we can take it somewhere. And, one of the benefits is that I had small children at that time, or we had small children. And part of the hard thing about having a job was just needing the flexibility when they're sick, when they need to get to places. Sometimes the hours don't match the hours of your working day. There's a lot of, my son had colic, so we barely slept for the first 3 years of his
Oh, no.
childhood. So, I was realizing that when you're in that season of life where you're raising little children, you kind of need to take a step back from work. Now, it wasn't that Profello was less work. It was just more that I had the flexibility to figure out my schedule, so I was my own boss. I'm self-employed. It didn't make the stress of building the business any less per se. It just allowed me to care for my family and make that a priority when I needed to. So that was a huge benefit of being an entrepreneur. And then today too, with the job market, it's always going up and down. And sometimes I think to myself, more people should be entrepreneurs. One, so that we can become employers rather than be employed, right? So we can make jobs, create, resources, create opportunities for people. I think that is a big benefit to be in the driver's seat of your career and your life.
Yep,
Creating jobs for other people versus hoping someone will give you a job.
yep.
It's a very powerful place to be in. It's just hard to get to that spot. I'm just going to admit that, but it is, I think honestly, anyone can be an entrepreneur if that is a goal that they have.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I think that that's the big part of it too is, getting yourself to the point where you say, I can do this. Like there's going to be bumps, but I have a passion, or I have just a thought and a place that I want to take myself. And I feel like it could be a business, and being able to give it a shot. And the other thing I hear a lot of times is it starts as kind of that side hustle, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of fun because then you get to experiment with it, and then you get to say, "At what point will it be full-time
Mhm.
revenue for me so that I can quit that other full-time job?" So, I love to hear how you were able to take that from a side hustle too, and then just at a time and a season where you have kids, it can be so challenging, so to be able to leverage that.
Absolutely. And I will say, I think that transition period when you're working full time and doing the side hustle is actually probably the hardest one because
Yeah.
your free time is so limited.
Yep.
However, if you can get through that and get to a place where you have enough sustainable income to make it to be a full-time entrepreneur, like then you've reached a stage many people never get to. So if you get to that stage, be proud of yourself. But yeah, you can't quit. It's a real journey in resilience for sure.
It sure is, and, the other thing that you mentioned there just with the employment situation that many people are facing within, not just our country, but across the world, having a side hustle and something to fall back to, even part-time, allows you that if you are part of a layoff or if something happens, you actually have a built-in fallback where at least you have a little bit of an opportunity and you're not completely without income. So I think there's unfortunately, that's kind of a thought process and a hat that we have to wear right now, just with current economic times.
I totally agree. In fact, it almost seems like it's a necessity now for almost everyone to have a side hustle of some sort.
Yeah, it really does. All of the positives, have there been any challenges, that you've faced along the way that we haven't talked about?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, building the revenue up for something that's really like a social impact organization, not easy to do. I think some people assume that we're a nonprofit because we're very focused on education equity and access. But, uh, you know, part of the reason we didn't make it a nonprofit to start is that it's really hard to set up a nonprofit, to get the tax. And I frankly didn't know how to do it. It was much simpler to set it up as an LLC. So just did that just to get things off the ground. And then I realized that the kind of small business model was a better model to do what we needed to do because my whole goal was to generate revenue through creating value and selling that value versus, trying to get donations. It's a very crowded, competitive space for philanthropic funding. And frankly, I sort of felt a responsibility that if I could generate my own revenue, then let's leave the philanthropic funding for the things that can't generate revenue, right? Like so I felt like that made the right choice in making this a business, even though people love to use the nasty for profit angle. But I'm like, well, it's technically for profit, but we really reinvest almost all of our revenue back into making sure that we have free resources and
Yeah.
make an impact. So, but the negative side of that is that, again, if you are not a nonprofit, people can make assumptions about what your goals are, or, oh, you're just making money off people who are trying to find fellowships or scholarships. That is, never been my intention. I've never been driven by the idea that I'm going to make lots of money off of this and never have. But really, it's about creating a space, creating resources for people that they don't have access to. Because even, especially once you're off campus, you have even fewer resources than when you're on campus. But
Yeah.
even students who were on campus sometimes felt that they didn't have access to the right advice or enough advising, to go to graduate school or to figure or to navigate those spaces. And more than half of our students now are first generation college graduates, meaning they're the first in their families to go to college. So they don't have a family network to help them guide and navigate college, the workforce, the white collar workforce. It's quite different. So,
Yep.
there's a ton of demand. And believe me, we are not meeting all the demand. My goal was just to help fill a gap.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I've been driven by that.
Yeah. Well, I love to hear it, and I know that there's challenges, but, I have a daughter who's in college and probably could have used, some of the guidance that you provide if I had known about it, right? So we'll hope to share your message, and we'll get all of your links in the show notes and everything, and thanks for sticking with it. Those challenges, it's funny, I said this the other day that I was having an issue with my business that if I worked for somebody else, I'd escalate it and then call it a night and let somebody else deal with it. And when the answers have to come from you, it's a completely different way to spend your evening. So it's definitely some
Oh, absolutely, so much.
challenges.
You're shouldering everything, every role, every every
Abs-
problem. You will learn so much. Like you will never. It's kind of hard. I don't know, Emily. Would you ever go back to 9 to 5 job?
I really do not want to. No.
I won't jinx it. All right, neither of
Well,
us.
yeah. No, so there's something special about the opportunities that you can place out there for yourself, and, I think one and I don't know about you, but one of the other challenges I've faced is actually just pitching myself, truly, and that's
Mm,
probably where you come in is that, I have to remind myself that I am my brand, and I need to
mm.
be out there and always talking about it and talking about it in the right way to grow, so that's been a real learning experience for me as well.
Well, I was able to practice pitching myself through the process of fellowships, applying to fellowships, because it's
Wow.
all about, putting together an application package that explains why you. And then, of course, applying to jobs. I worked in the public policy field for a good 15 years in the first part of my career at the intersection of public health and emergency management. So as I was, applying to jobs and moving around, doing fellowships, I honed in on that skill of pitching myself. So then that definitely came in handy when I was working on the business.
Yeah, I bet, I can imagine. Well, thanks for sharing that, we love to share, people's positives and challenges, and I really think it helps others understand that they're not in it by themselves, that, we're one big entrepreneurial, unit when it comes to everybody out there, so thank you for sharing that. What I'd love for you to share next and, tell us a little bit about is the Match Me formula and the framework that you've developed around this.
Yes, happy to. The Match Me formula has 7 letters in it for Match Me. So each letter stands for one of the 7 elements of a winning application. And I always thought of myself as an underdog candidate, partly because people told me that I was an underdog candidate for a variety of reasons. I was going into college and then fellowships. I was always being told, like, oh, there's going to be candidates that are higher caliber than you. So careful. But I learned that there are a number of really human centered factors that can make your application stand out. So the Match Me formula, which is the subject of my book, is how to really create an exceptional application that explains why you. So why you should be picked. So the first letter M stands for memorable. So being memorable candidate is important. 2 stands for aligns with the program's mission. So whether it's an employer, university, or an award program, you have to know what their mission is and align with it. The third one, T, stands for timely. So there needs to be a bit of timeliness and urgency to your application. The fourth one stands for capitalize, which shows how you're going to capitalize on their unique benefits. It's like an action word. H is highly specific because most of our applications are full of jargon, platitudes, and non-specific language that confuses people. So that's about like that writing skill of being specific. The next M is mutually beneficial. So there should be a benefit to you and a benefit to them that is perfectly aligned. And then finally, E is for elegant, which is my word for the careful balance of self-confidence and humility. So some people are struggle to be confident in their applications, and other people are overly confident, and neither one is good. You want to be somewhere in the middle. So I teach just some key strategies on how to do that.
That's really cool. And, I love because again, I feel like you could take that formula and whether it's applying for fellowships or it's creating a pitch deck within for a consult, I'm IT tech consulting. I could take that and really leverage that for the way that I apply to my proposals that I respond to.
Oh, absolutely. I just spoke at a conference in Las Vegas for High Power Ignite. It's all executive women, and we were just talking about, the more you go up in your career, there's even other ways that you're pitching yourself. You're pitching yourself for board positions or for a promotion, or you need resources for a special project. You're constantly pitching yourself, right? And so those 7 elements also relate to anything where you're trying to get resources from another group and have to convince them that you're the right person to invest in. So, and it really helps the underdog candidates because we're taught to build our resumes, our whole career, build this, get more accomplishments, get more degrees, get more credentials. In my experience, that doesn't make any difference in how well you do. It's not going to be that extra credential that gets you the job. It
Yep.
really is how you pitch yourself and helping the selectors really visualize the future with you in it and really helping them see that without them having to guess what that's going to look like. So when we emphasize the past, they still got to guess. Emphasize the future, you start to invigorate their imagination, inspire them, and get them excited.
Oh, I love that. I will share because this just came into my mind when you were talking through that. I actually had a conversation at a client site today. We were talking about the need to potentially bring on somebody for a role, and in thinking through your match me framework that you just went through. One thing that also popped out was the discussion we had on work ethic and making sure that, to your point, another credential, that's great, but if they don't have the work ethic to show up, so I would almost put that when I'm thinking about employers using this as a way to elevate employees, having that be one of those levels of credentials that not necessarily something you get via paper, but can prove to an employer that you can validate that the work ethics there. That just kind of came into my mind as
Yes.
we were talking through that.
I was telling, the women at the High Power Conference how if you're pitching yourself for an opportunity, you want to have a really detailed vision or outcome or blueprint of
Yeah.
what the future will be. The level of detail and preparation that you put in that blueprint will reflect your work ethic. Because a
I love
lot of
that.
candidates don't do that. They just say, here's my resume, and they'll talk about all the things they've done, but without a plan, without like a real clear idea of what will happen if you get selected, or what you're committing to, or what you're proposing proactively to do. So the work ethic is reflected in the quality of your application. How much time did you put into it? Believe me, when you detail it, it shows. And
Yeah.
also, the more you detail it, the more preparation you do, the more enthusiastic you're going to come off. You're going to be excited to talk about the vision. So then that enthusiasm is like, oh, this person really wants this opportunity. And that to me, just psychologically, is more compelling than someone who kind of shows up and is winging it and is sort of just assuming they're a shoe in, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I just wanna say, I'm not sure who said that you would be an underdog of a candidate, but I hope they understand that they were completely wrong.
oh yeah, don't worry, I proved them wrong. I proved them wrong.
Yes. I'm just listening to this going, "How could anybody say that about you?"
Oh, yeah. Well, it started out in high school. I went to like a really struggling inner city public high school.
Yeah.
So when I was applying to Cornell, which was my dream school, I mean, I had top grades. I was a big go getter, but just if you understand the nature of college admissions,
Yep.
getting into an Ivy League school, the nature of the high school relationships with these schools, like there's a lot of factors that are out of your control. So I think that was why I was sort of like an underdog candidate boost, because the school I went to had no examples of Ivy League graduates, and it was sort of like, I don't know, that made it almost like a pipe dream. But
Yeah.
I applied the Match Me formula, not knowing it at the time, and I do think my story is the thing that got me into the school.
Yeah. No, I love that, and I think, that goes to manifesting what you want in life as well and
Mhm.
going out there and getting it, so I love that. Alright, and you have a new book coming out, it's called.
Yes, here's a
Yes,
big
there
sign.
it is.
So it's
Alright,
obnoxiously big, but that's
I
it.
love it.
Pitch your potential.
I love it. I mean, listen, I think it's fantastic. Tell us about the book.
Yes, the book is on the Match Me formula. So if your curiosity has been piqued and you want to learn, what is this formula? How do I apply it? This book is like full of stories, case studies, activities for you to figure out how to incorporate all 7 elements into any pitch or application that you do. When I have taught people this formula through my workshops and courses, people I mentor, they have a complete transformation in how they think about themselves and how they think about the competition. And they just have a lot more success. So it's about mindset, having a winner's mindset, applying the 7 elements. And then there is tactical information in there too about how to apply it. It's enough to talk about it, but I wanted people to really see it in real life and see how it could be, but with normal people, not just famous people, but
Yeah.
real people that I've worked with.
Yeah, that's great. Have actionable, tangible things
Yes.
that you can apply as you're going through the book.
Yes, yes. And I
I
tried to write it so it was like lots of stories. So I've been told it's like a fun read. So, yes, the
great.
full title is Pitch Your Potential: The Formula for Winning Dream Jobs, Awards, and Elite Opportunities. And it is based in this formula that I've taught to literally thousands of people who were applying first to fellowships and fully funded graduate programs, but then even people getting into dream leadership positions, foreign service, other types of elite career tracks. So it really can be applied. And even find myself, I mean, I even applied it to get the book deal. The
You
book,
do?
yeah, I mean, the book is being published by Wiley, so it's a big
Yeah,
publisher, and it was one of those things I thought was a little out of reach, but the formula worked.
that's
So,
fantastic.
yeah.
Is it out now, or is it still pre-sale?
January 6th, 2026, which I know some people are like, but I want to learn it now. But actually, if you pre-order it, I'm doing a couple of webinars this
Okay.
fall to help people learn the Match Me formula right now before they get the book. So if you maybe there'll be a link somewhere on this episode, you can find it. Also, if you just Google Picture Potential, you'll find the Amazon links and other pages. And then you can email me and let me know if you want to get into those webinars that are coming up.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, we'll put
Yeah,
links to all of that in the show notes. So all of that will be
excellent.
available right on the
Yeah.
transcripts and show notes. Yeah. Well, that is so exciting. How did you find the writing process?
You know, I don't sometimes I don't want to share this because I think then
Oh,
people will compare themselves, but I wrote the book in about a year.
okay.
I didn't get any feedback other than from my developmental editor. I write that way. I don't know what it is, but I've done so much writing over my life. I know my voice. And
Yeah.
actually, I get a little bit more, I think, distracted by feedback from different voices than from just focusing on it. So I really enjoyed it. I did a couple of solo writing retreats thanks to my husband's support with the kids. And I would just go for like 2 or 3 days and just write until I just knocked it out. But I did, when you work with a publisher, you get an editor, they'll help you tell you where there's weaknesses. I know there's also people that work with AI tools, which can be helpful. Technically, I wasn't allowed to use AI tools, so I just avoided it. I think it will be a better book because of it, because it's not written by AI or too heavily influenced by AI. This is just straight from my head. So
Yeah.
you're either gonna like it or you're not. So but I'm proud of it. It's been a labor of love because it's like a reflection of all the work over the last 15 years.
Yeah. No, that's amazing, and it should be a reflection of what's in your mind and your heart when you put that to paper, and, I know it's, I agree with the solo retreats. I think if anybody's struggling with just needing to get past a certain point or just need that focus time, there is truly something so beneficial and cathartic about just going away even for 24 hours by yourself and just having that time.
Oh yeah, it made all the difference. Between the retreats, I did little writing, to be honest, because there's too many life distractions.
Yeah.
I would just wake up at like 6 a.m., write all the way and, feed myself, take a walk or two, but and then come back. And it really, that worked for me. I don't know if that would work for everyone, but I think that's a good way to approach it if you're struggling.
Yeah, I agree. I've done a couple of those myself, and it's like,
Yeah,
it just feels so great.
it does. It does. And then you're like, oh, I got something done. I got a chapter done. Woo.
I know. Well, that's awesome. Well, like I said, we'll put links to it. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I hope you're having some sort of launch party and getting yourself ready because it's a
Yes. Oh,
well-deserved
I gotta
accomplishment.
plan that. Yes, it's got sometime there's a lot of parties in December because it's the holidays, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll have a little party in my hometown here, and I'm even thinking about heading out to DC and New York because we have a lot of Pro Fellow members there. So stay
Ah,
tuned, friends. There might be some little events out there related to the book in January.
oh, that's fun. Well, if you're outside of New York City, but, closer to Buffalo, let me know because we'll
Oh yeah,
come join you.
excellent.
All right. Well, outside of what we've already talked about, is there anything else you want to share with our audience about the work that you're doing or anything about yourself that you want everybody to know?
I, like everyone else, am seeing the news and feeling overwhelmed and feeling like the job market's crazy. Things feel very unstable and uncertain. I just want to remind everyone, number one, to reach out to your community, your family, your network. Like people, you're not the only one in a boat if you're feeling unstable. Like just reach out. There's the communities out there.
Mhm.
Also, use Profellow. I mean, it's not like a solution to an immediate job, but there is a lot of hidden professional fellowships and opportunities that a lot of people don't know about that could really launch your career, especially if you're just coming out of college or coming out of grad school. Use the database, get excited. And then, like you said, maybe Emily, start your side hustle if you have nothing else, because
Yeah.
um, opportunity is out there, but you have to have the mindset to see it and to, put yourself toward it. So don't spend too much time in that fear-based mode. Really connect with your community and get into a mode of abundance, because there is an abundance of opportunities. You just have to see them.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. I love that, and I think something that you said there is so true right now is that there are opportunities where you may not know, and, now that everyone will know about Profellow, being able to go out there, connect with yourself to hear about other opportunities through the book and webinars that you've got upcoming, what just a perfect resource if you're going through something, like, you're not in it alone. There's people to support and resources, such as yourself that can help. Yeah, that's
Yeah, everyone's welcome at Profellow. So come on down.
ah, I love that. Well, how can myself and the Powered by Authenticity team help you?
Oh, Emily, you've already helped by having me on the podcast live stream today. So thank you for that. Just spreading the word. And actually, I'm excited to get this episode out in the Profellow newsletter. But thank you for a platform just to share what I'm working on.
Oh, yeah, we are so happy to have you here. I love this I love the work that you're doing. I think
Thank you.
part of it's so exciting because I can see where it can help my daughter in college and
Yes.
help to understand where opportunities are there. It can help myself, even as an entrepreneur, understand when I'm responding to an RFP, use your match me methodology in the way that I'm thinking through the responses. So I think you've got a broad reach of people that you're able to connect with and help. And I think that's very special. And you're just, thank you for bringing that forward, and thank you for bringing it to people who need it.
Emily, thank you for the work that you're doing too. I love this podcast, and I really appreciate it, just bringing people's stories to life.
Oh yeah, we love to talk. That's, that's my downside too, is I could talk all day.
Me
But
too.
well well, we thank you for being here tonight. Again, I've loved this conversation. We're gonna post links to everything that we've talked about, including your book, in our show notes, and again, we appreciate you taking the time. I know it's a busy season for you, so thank you for being here.
Thank you, Emily. Have a great season too. And 2026 is very close. So
It is, it's
let's
like
see. Maybe it'll be better
50 days
than this
away.
year.
It's mind-boggling. Hey, producer Ken, thanks for being here tonight.
You got it.
Thankfully, I'm not in charge of the buttons because when I am, bad things happen. So I appreciate it. And I also, Vicki, I record actually out of a community art studio. So through the use of a grant,
Okay.
they've us. You see a little bit of a mural behind me, but they're a fantastic resource in my local community, and they've been just lovely to host our show for a couple of years now. So we like to thank them. So thank you, Go Art, and thank you everybody for being here. Vicki, you were just a delight to talk to, and thank you for going through everything that you are bringing forward to all of us. And we appreciate your time tonight.
My pleasure. Thank you, Emily.
All right, thank you. Have a great night.